what your thoughts on Portsmouth are. I know they haven't played Middlesbrough for many a long year, but they have got a good record away from home, haven't they?
Yeah, listen, they've had on paper, which looked a really tough start, and has been a tough start for them. But I think the results and going to Leeds, scoring 3 goals, good performance against Luton last week. Credit to the manager and the team, I think, to come to the new league and approach it the way they have and attack it the way they have and play with a way of expansive and attacking and putting a lot of bodies forward, and credit to them for that. I think they've approached it really well and have had a really good start. So yeah, we definitely know what we're in for a really tough game. So credit to them for the start that they've had so far. You know, it's been good to watch from my perspective and see how they've gone about it.
So away at Derby, you dominated possession and chances. Has that been troubling you the last few nights? You had words on the training pitch?
No, that's not been trouble. I think that largely the game was decent enough in terms of when you take obviously the goal away from it, give them a bit to hold on to. You know, putting a lot of bodies behind the ball, defending the box towards the end of the game. It can be. It's not easy to break that down, and that proved the case. I mean, we have to, and we'll be better if we face something like that. But I thought there were a lot of good things really in the game, and to have that level of control and domination for most of the game, start to finish, pretty much apart from the goal, was positive. It's early days. We don't want to be losing points. We don't want to be certainly losing games for sure. But it wasn't too extreme of a reaction after the game. There's plenty of football to play coming up.
Talking of which, what a week to the end of the transfer window. Should we be surprised to see any more business from you in these next few days? Or not?
I don't know. It's a transfer window, you know, surprises. I think I'm really happy with the squad we've got, and I've said it many times sitting here to you guys. I think things can get thrown at us. That's something that's out of our control. So for me to say everything's done and that's finished, I think would be a little bit silly of me to say that, because for that reason, sometimes it's out of our control. But for sure, at the moment, I'm really happy. You know, we're trying to improve, trying to look for things that are out there. Not desperate by any stretch. I think we've got an open mind and open eyes to see what's there. If we can improve and make a little step further, then great. But a week is a long time in football, so there'll be a lot of hard work from us going into that to see if we can come out even better.
Are you saying effectively you're not anxious about making any more strengthening to the squad?
I'm not anxious at all, no. That's not the feeling. I think we're excited and trying to improve, that's for sure, but no anxious or desperate or anything like that, or chasing anything, because I think we're in a decent place.
Finally, obviously you've made quite a number of signings so far. Do the fans need to accept that those players need time to bed themselves in when you're looking at a result like you had against Derby, for example?
Yeah, I think you could be careful really. I think that the result, that one goal is one goal. I think that doesn't really tell the performance. I think the boys have settled in really well. The boys that have came in particular, have settled in great. You know, Aiden's had a really good impact. Delano's had a good impact. Tommy's came in and he's not been here very long. Mike has not been here very long, so that there's not really anything to judge from them. Not that I'm judging them, but people do. And then certainly as time goes, you know, the boys will be fine. So I'm not concerned about that.
Okay, thank you.
Just staying with the transfer front, Michael, having talks, apologies if you've asked, with talk not going away on Josh Coburn, as things stand at the club, you know, received anything from anybody else?
No, it's Josh is the same as everyone else from my perspective. Yeah, there's nothing. He's one of us. He's in a good place, Josh. He looks fit, he looks strong, he looks hungry to play more football and to be dangerous. So yeah, there's nothing from my point of view.
Yeah, obviously he's a local lad. He's expressed recently how much he loves the club. I guess speculation or no speculation, it's good to have a player like that who you know he'll run for a brick wall for this football club.
Yeah, I think speculation is what it is. You know, I think there's all sorts about all sorts of players, and that's just something we learn to live with and not get too kind of hyped up with. we know what we've got, we know what the players are capable of, we know what squad we've got, we know what we're happy with, what we're trying to look and improve on. So we know, for me to get carried away with what's been said, that's the beauty of transfer window. You know, everyone's excited and wants something extra and more and more and more. For us, we got to take a little step back from that, and as I've just said, for where we are at the moment, we're quite happy and satisfied in a small way.
Yeah, obviously a week left to go, and next week is a busy week of Stoke in the Cup and then the long trip to Cardiff. I guess, does it help in the way that things now run? I mean, it's not unique to Middlesbrough, pretty much everyone in that way, but if things feel very connected at Middlesbrough, obviously there's a recruitment team, and I guess you can kind of rely on them based on how this summer's been going.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not going into next week with any thinking, oh, this is going to be a busy week, we've got this to cram into, it's transfer at the end of the transfer deadline or anything like that. It's a normal week, really. It's some things might get thrown at us. I don't know. I've said that. I don't know. We've got good players, so I don't know what's going to happen in that side. But we're in a good place as a squad, and we're certainly not going into next week anxious or chasing anything, or looking at the deadline as a big kind of beacon or warning sign or anything like that. But for me, we got we got 3 games this week, 3 different games, and really my eyes are pretty 85%, 90% on that. And if there's anything along the way that we've got to deal with, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, and as I say, I guess that you can have that kind of 85 to 90% kind of focus on.
It's a bit of a guess, that, but yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
You can have that focus on the game, because it fails at the moment, and it's not a given, and it probably has taken a bit of time. Obviously, you've been here, now, but everything this summer just feels so connected, and everyone knows what they're doing on the recruitment front.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way that's gone. I think over time of being here and certainly building a relationship of kind of what we like, what the coach is like, what the team looks, what it needs, with Kieran, with Neil, with Chris Jones, and obviously with Steve. I think we've got a really good chain of understanding, and I'd like to think that's shown in terms of the boys that we've brought in. And we seem that we're in a better place than we were when we finished. So there's always more for improve. I keep saying the same things to you every week, really, about that. We're always looking to improve, but at this stage, I'm really happy, and I can see why. Hopefully, you can see why we've brought the players in we have, and they're fitted in really well.
On the injury front, obviously there on Monday for the open training session, a couple of lads weren't involved. They've managed to get involved as the week's gone on.
Yeah, I have to say, going on the open trains, I thought it was a big success. I really enjoyed it. I thought, thanks to everyone who turned out, I thought they made it a really good afternoon. It was nice to see so many young faces and smiling and shouting and screaming and having that enthusiasm and seeing the players up that close, which you don't get a chance to do. So that was really positive, and the boys really responded to that and enjoyed it. So listen, through the season you get some lads that are injured, you get some lads that would miss the odd training session here and there anyway, so there's not loads to look into from that side of things, but we got a good squad, so we can manage the ups and downs with that. But it was certainly a good day on Monday anyway. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll go further on the training session down the line, but obviously Rav sat out. How's he? Has he been back involved?
Yeah, Rav finished the game last week. He did have a little bit of an issue towards the end of the game, so we've managed him this week, and we're going to see how he is tomorrow in terms of moving forward with that one. Johnny similar, really. Riley similar. Dara and Dale's a little bit further, like I said to you. I think it was last week. They're probably a little bit further down the line, so that's pretty much where we are, I think. Unless it's Lucas is he had a problem with his wrist. So he fractured his wrist. So, but yeah, he should be all right.
Right. Is that because it's his wrist?
Yeah, wrist. Yeah. So,
through it kind of thing.
Yeah, no problem. We'll be all right.
Nice. Moving on from that, we'll talk about the open training session. Obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of young fans there. And this week we saw the news of the Stoke game getting moved slightly earlier during the school holidays, and encourage families and young fans to try and come to the game. How important is that, thinking about the next generation of supporters, and initiatives like open training, early kick-offs to kind of encourage them to come?
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea, I have to say, at a good time in the year, really, like you say, with the school holidays, and giving the younger generation a chance to come, whether it's the first time, second time, or whether they just enjoy coming and want to come again, even better. And I think that's part of growing the club and evolving in the fan base and the future of the club, you know. So days like Monday afternoon and the work we do in and around the community as well to try and promote the club in a positive manner. But certainly from the decision with the early kick, I think is a really good idea, and hopefully we can get create a really good atmosphere and create a special night that if it's some of the youngsters, or not necessarily youngsters, if it's the first time you could come and watch us and sample the atmosphere, the special atmosphere, then hopefully it won't just be the first time, there'll be many more. So I think it's a really good idea.
Just finally for me, we briefly mentioned Riley, who'll hopefully be back in this week. I mean, he spoke recently, having signed his new contract, about his frustrations last season because of how it went with the injuries, the international tournament. When he did play, he did make an impact though, and I guess he is someone who's been a player who has made an impact throughout your time at this club. How big a season does it feel for him in terms of getting back to playing regularly and regularly having that impact in games?
Yeah, it's an important season. I wouldn't say it's big because it's this now really. It's the next one. I think it's I wouldn't put anything into it's bigger for Riley this one than last. It's not bigger than the one before. I think it's always big. It feels big because it's the next one, and and everyone individually, it's like how can you make this season better really, and how can we be better with this season? So I wouldn't put any more on it than that. I just think he's older, he's wiser, he's more mature, he's more experienced on the football side, and I think I'm sure there's a lot more to come from him and performance-wise, because he's at a good age now with that he can take it on to another level. So yeah, we're obviously delighted that he signed his new contract and hope for more as the games go by.
Yeah. Briefly mentioned Derby and everything then. I guess you're trying to take positives from that with 20 shots on goal, and I think it was 18 against Swansea. Middlesbrough had more shots at goal than any other team in the first 2 games in the Championship, and if you're looking for positives, that's a good start that I'm sure you're happy with.
Yeah, always take the positives, always look for that realistic and balanced as well, and we know that these are the games that we need to find a way to pick up more points from. I think last season proved that, so we know that. But yeah, that was the goal itself and the way the game panned out. I think we definitely should have taken at least a point anyway. But it is what it is. But we'll definitely be better for it in terms of the group and understanding what we need to do at certain stages of the game, and the fact that we have created a number of chances, and we did that throughout pre-season, and it's still so early, it's like 2 weeks in, and the boys are still finding that little bit of extra sharpness and a little bit around the box, which is almost the hardest part of the game really, is finding that. So we've done a bit of work on that, and hopefully that will show over the weeks coming up.
Yeah, do you think Derby and the low block, obviously we spoke about last season, but new players, some still bedding in, do you think it come in this early can almost be a blessing in that it acts as like a learning curve?
Yeah, definitely. We try to use that as the main kind of the catalyst to take us on again and improve and learn new things really, and you got to adjust and you got to adapt. You got to find ways of winning and breaking teams down. That's the game, and teams will come, and some teams will be man to man and try and press us all the way up the pitch. Other teams might drop off. That's we adapt and change it to who we're playing against, and I think that's the beauty of the game. Of sometimes it's individual strengths and picking certain individuals for certain games, and then otherwise it's that little bit of something where you got to sense and feel and understand how you can make the difference, and I'm sure over time we'll be managed to, or we'll find a way of doing that.